I have seen so many founders with great ideas just not do anything because they're waiting for funding. I'm a liver. So I'm a Marwadi, okay? We found like many jugadu ways to like get capital. Your network is your net worth. He's not afraid to like criticize, but at the same time he's like not like the Doglapan guy. Guys, I love Talkify podcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Talkify Show. I'm Kashish Kaur, host and founder of Talkify Show and a community builder.
नमस्ते भाइयों और बहनों, मैं आपका को होस्ट और होमी मानस तिवारी।
Okay, Manas, do you know how to make a business?
I don't think so.
What if I tell you I have someone जिसको सिर्फ आइडिया नहीं है बट सब पता है?
Wait, let me guess. Is she Vamika?
I'm surprised you guessed it right. Do you want to meet her?
Yeah, sure, I do.
And what if I say she's already here?
Bro, is she already here? Wait. Let me introduce her to the guest. So, Vamika is a 17-year-old high schooler from Assam, Guwahati, who has helped 600 plus founders grow their startups, personal brands, and result oriented systems. In the April of 2023, she founded the Meraki Collab, which later evolved into the Founder League. She mentors young students in the field of entrepreneurship, designing, pitching, funding, content creation, and whatnot. And she also runs her own podcast. तो उसका लिंक मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन में डाल दूंगा. Go and subscribe. और भाई यही नहीं, ये
That's
इन सब के साथ पढ़ाई भी मैनेज करती है. She secured an All India rank 10 in her ICSE 10th board examinations. So Kashish, I'm already very excited to meet her.
And I'm तो getting that शर्मा जी की बेटी वाली vibe. I'm so excited मिलने के लिए. Let's just quickly invite her on the stage.
Hi guys.
Hey, Vamika.
Hi Vamika, how are you?
Hello. I'm all good and thank you for such a cute introduction. I was smiling through it all.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm in Guwahati. Glad to be back home and yeah, preparing for SATs.
How's
That's
how's Guwahati right now?
Guwahati is like it's raining like crazy everywhere. It's just waterlogged. But yeah, it's home. Pretty used to this, and a little sad that this is the last time I'll be like, getting like so much rain every single day and everything. But it's fun. It's fun nonetheless.
It's like
Hmm.
it's same for Delhi. It's like raining every day, and then sadko pe pani, and you can't go outside to enjoy the weather. So yeah,
Mhm.
That's all.
Okay. So Vamika, to start with, just for our audience, मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप थोड़ा सा बताओ what was Meraki collab and now it's Founderly and इसका idea कैसे आया कि क्या है exactly?
Okay, sure. So basically, everything starts when I was like in grade seventh, eighth, building my own CV, building my skills, doing like internships with authors, entrepreneurs, volunteering NGOs. So that's when a lot of my friends from my previous school, like my middle school, they started asking me that, bro, how did you know what skill you wanted to learn? Like leave internships. So my internships kahan se mila, but more importantly, how did you decide that this is the skill that you want to do? That's when I realized later in class 10 that, oh shit, there's this gap where students want to learn skills, want to do internships, want to do projects, but A, adults don't believe in them. Second, they don't believe in themselves. And thirdly, there aren't really more real life based projects that they can do because YouTube is definitely a great learning source. But then YouTube doesn't give you that push to make projects, get internships, meet people, network. So that's how the idea of the Meraki collab started. And funny enough, actually, I got the idea right before my history board exam. And I was like sitting right on this bed, studying. And then Achanak, I got like this idea. And I still have it on Notion. I have like the first description that I wrote of my idea on Notion. And my sister literally just snatched my laptop and she was like, dude, you have a board exam tomorrow. Please study. Work on this later after your exams. And I was like, yeah. So the day my board exams ended, I started working on this in full swing. I low key disappeared for like for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I was just like launching this idea. And when I launched, all of my like good friends, best friends, they were all like, "When did this happen?" And I'm like, "Bro, even I don't know." Like, so Miraki happened very suddenly, because I feel like when you get like a passion for an idea, or when you have like a moment, then it's like that's all that you want to work towards. But yeah, one little tip, that drive, that sudden drive motivation goes away. So you need to find joy and love in what you're doing to kind of sustain it. And that's how Miraki happened, which later in December we pivoted. In November we actually pivoted, and then that's how Founderly Miraki was like shifted to Founderly with a better aim, with more resources, a better culture, a better network. That's how the transition happened.
That's amazing. And if I'll say, मेरे हिस्ट्री के एग्जाम से पहले मेरे को नींद आती थी, and now here you are thinking of an idea. That's great. Like, okay. So if someone is a new way, and like, how can she crack his first internship? As you said, you did your first internship at such an age, you know. So how did you do it with with the whole truth food?
Okay, so one thing that I would like to say is that, of course, like I'm from Guwahati, and then honestly, Northeast in general doesn't have a very strong entrepreneurship ecosystem, or just in general, यहाँ पे वही notion है that like students can't do much, and then anyways, it doesn't have a lot of opportunities because it's still it's in a development phase. So I
Mhm.
came from a background where people can't say me कि अरे तुम्हारे यहाँ तो सारे opportunities थे. So it wasn't like that. Guwahati was a very it was a great place to grow up in, but then to grow up as a person in terms of skills and everything, it wasn't the best. So if anybody's living in like a tier one city like Mumbai, Bangalore, the amount of opportunities that you get there, it's insane. So what I would like to tell you is that even if you're like a tier two city, tier three city like Guwahati, try to find opportunities within the network. So your dad, for example, if he is doing a job, if he has his own business, whatever he's doing, try to see, okay, in his work, is there any way that you can apply your skill? That's where you can get started. Number one, like just doing something within your family. If you are interested in graphic design, try to make some posters maybe for your family, because that's how you kind of get your first feedback.
Mhm.
And then once you do that, you kind of get this role. So okay, you worked, maybe you made a website for like your father's NGO. Then from there, try to then approach more people. So when you're starting out, if you're very young, I always recommend that you do more volunteering work, because a, they're willing to take you in and they're willing to teach you. Second, it's a pretty fulfilling space to work in. And uh, third, it's like a great groundwork to just get started. So I would always recommend that if you're starting out, try to reach out to these people, maybe do some volunteering work. It's a good way to get your hands dirty. And then go for more paid opportunities, corporate opportunities, and those things will start coming your way once you are actually looking for them. So it's more about just increasing your luck surface area.
Acha.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I have an idea about this, and like एक pathway hai, and just correct me if I'm wrong. So
Hmm.
one, you should start by learning some skill. Maybe try on Coursera or YouTube or Udemy or anything.
YouTube
Maybe.
is your holy grail, man. Honestly.
Okay. So we'll start with a skill, and for to start with, just choose a skill and then learn it. Okay.
Yeah, and
हाँ,
build projects, honestly. Just like build 4 projects on it. That's like a good milestone.
ओके एंड उसके बाद टॉक टू योर फैमिली, टॉक टू योर रिलेटिव्स कि वहाँ कहाँ हेल्प कर सकते हो आप, अपना जो स्किल है वो कहाँ इंटीग्रेट कर सकते हो, एंड उसके बाद
Your school
उधर
is a
से वर्क
great
चालू
place. I don't know how I missed it, but your school is a great place for you to first implement what you're learning. So every
Mhm.
single school has some clubs, right? Even if you study at like a pathetic school, for example, you will have some kind of a club. Even if you don't have a club, you can always start your own. So
Yeah.
if you're just starting out, even if you're in grade 6, 7, 5, learn a skill. Maybe if you learn web development, make a website for your school, make a website for your friends, make a website for this random, suppose, book reading club that you start. And then once you make like these very tiny kind of, might seem insignificant in the longer run, but then this is how your story will begin. So uh, we used to have like this poster at home in my room that said home is where your story begins, because everything that you do will start in very like baby steps at your home from your room, and then you just have to kind of trust in yourself to take these things apart then in full swing.
And I think LinkedIn is a great platform for all this. Like there are other app as well, but LinkedIn is like you can get 100 or 1,000 of opportunity for all this if you'll start uploading your work and all. So yeah, I think people should try LinkedIn, and it's not like सिर्फ job के लिए होता है. Like even I did the same, and वहाँ पे networking भी आप लोगों को मिल जाएगी सब.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. I always, if I'm meeting somebody in high school, and if they're interested in like like building their career, building their network, whatever, even if it's not just network, even if they want to build a startup, I always tell them get on LinkedIn, post, like build in public. It's a very interesting concept.
Absolutely.
हमारे कल्चर में ऑनेस्टली बिल्ड इन पब्लिक इज इन लाइक पीपल थिंक कि ओ तुम शो ऑफ कर रहे हो, या फिर अभी मत दिखाओ नजर लग जाती है. एंड इवन आई यूज्ड टू बिलीव इन नजर टू सम एक्सटेंट, बट देन honestly, once you start building in public, what happens is that you get a lot of rapid feedback, and then
Exactly.
the momentum that will like set you on, it's crazy. So I 100%, if you're watching this and if you aren't active on LinkedIn, I'm telling you that's the number one place to be. But one
And
thing that I would like to add is that don't give AI based. So even if you're posting on LinkedIn, never give AI based advice on LinkedIn unless you have the experience to back that advice. So what I do is that if I'm personally learning something, like I feel like entrepreneurship is something that I'm learning right now. And because I'm interacting with so many mentors, I am getting advice from them and they have the experience to back that advice. So whenever I'm posting on LinkedIn, either I add that, okay, I'm just 17, I've built my startup, this is what I've done, and take every advice that I give you with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, you have to kind of make your own path. And giving a lot of advice which is way over your head on LinkedIn can, kind of harm your uh, credibility. So if you're on LinkedIn, be honest. Even if you're a student, just post about being a student, post about your student life, what helps you. Don't try to come off as like a guru on LinkedIn, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Like आज भी LinkedIn के post पे it was like I when I posted, so
Mhm.
there was a comment. So it was कि AI अगर लोगों को पढ़ना है तो they can search on Google, and there are other websites जहाँ पे वो search कर सकते हैं. But if they are on LinkedIn and then reading posts, so they are there for looking something genuine and something real, something like so that they can learn from their experience. So I think AI तो वो बाहर से भी पढ़ सकते हैं, गूगल से भी पढ़ सकते हैं. You should be कि हाँ there is
Yeah,
something and all. So yep.
अच्छा.
100%. Yeah.
मूविंग ऑन, तो अगर लेट्स सपोज मैंने अपनी फैमिली के साथ बैठ के प्रोजेक्ट्स बना लिया, वर्क कर लिया, एक स्किल थोड़ी सी डेवलप कर ली. अब आई वांट टू स्टार्ट माय ओन थिंग, आई वांट टू स्टार्ट माय ओन फर्म. सो इज देयर, एंड आई एम लाइक 17-18. So is there any proven step by step process that one should follow to have his like start his own thing or a firm, or maybe grow his personal brand or something?
So honestly, because like in Founderly, my primarily work is helping, people of different ages build their startups. I've come across crazy different stories. So I've come across stories of people who have been building in an industry for 20 years, and then they got the idea and then boom, they just made it happen. And then so basically that was like very rapid, sorry, very slow turtle growth. You're working in industry for 10-15 years. And on the other hand, there are like these, new age entrepreneurs who are barely 18, and then they're earning like crazy. I've met both. I'm still working with like people from both spectrums. So what I can tell you is that firstly, age does not matter. If you're 16,
Absolutely.
if you're 40, you always have time to build your next big thing or something. And when it comes to a direct pathway, honestly, like everybody says, there is no one single route to success or to building your own pathway. But at the same time, I used to be personally somebody who wants to look for what people have done and then make my own iteration of that. So I will just kind of give you what pathway I have followed plus
Mhm.
improvising. So what I feel like if I had done this better, I would have been uh, I would have achieved more growth now.
Mhm.
So one thing that I would say, okay, is that okay, if you have an idea, firstly, of course, understand, do people actually need this solution? So everything is a solution, right? So every entrepreneur is building a solution to a problem. So if I just take Talkify, you guys are building, your solution is providing good content to teenagers, right? So that's the like the problem that you're addressing is that teenagers don't believe in themselves, they need good content. So this is your solution.
Mhm.
So what I always tell somebody is that okay, if you have an idea, firstly identify what problem you're solving. You know, a business
Mhm.
doesn't arrive from a solution; it arrives from a problem, and then
Exactly.
understand. Okay, is this problem just your problem or everybody's problem? It can be that okay, only you are facing this problem. There isn't enough demand for this problem. That is an issue. And secondly, there are some problems that just can't be solved by an individual
Mhm.
sometimes.
Mhm.
There are some problems that require uh, different things that one person might not possess. So suppose if I, yeah, everybody knows that global warming is a problem, right? But right now, because I'm
Mhm.
17, I don't have the resources to solve this problem at a greater scale. But what I can do is start solving this problem at a smaller scale that is possible within my resources. So secondly, you should kind of identify that okay, if this is a problem that you have seen that people want to solve, then it's also kind of like why are you doing this? Are you doing this to make impact or money? Because that's two, they can exist together, but at the same time, something like global warming initially will not give you a lot of money if you're a teenager working on like a solution to make people more conscious about environment, for example. So kind of understanding your why is very very important. So I feel like in the start you should do these two things: understand why you're doing this, because you will run out of motivation like crazy. Then you need to have a why to support you, to keep you like going through bad times. And second, just understand if there's a market fit for this product, the people actually need it. Conduct like I so instead of a survey, instead of paying people to do a survey, what I recommend thing is that post it on your LinkedIn, post it on your social media, send it to your school, send it to different people, and just ask them, okay, if this was something that was provided to you, would you buy it? Or would you even
Mhm.
consider buying it? What price would you pay? And honestly, if you can't find anyone to answer your questions, to do like this market research on, just go out in the street and ask somebody. I'm not even kidding. Like, we've done that, it
Mhm.
works. It's called, we use this framework. I came across this framework because of a program that I was in. It's called the mom test. So it's like, you know how you tell this idea to your mom, and then she'll ask you these questions about it, right? Like, okay, like, and she usually, you know how Indian moms are always like, अरे but ये ऐसा क्यों है, मतलब इसका इसको तो क्या. So
Mhm.
basically, so can you answer these critical questions? It's called the mom test. It's a very interesting book that you should read, and it will really
Mhm.
help you understand the right questions to ask, because that's very interesting, very very important in entrepreneurship. You should know how to answer the right questions. And to quickly wrap it up, basically do like this research, understand if people actually want your product, and always be fast in development. Don't wait for funding unless you're building like a very capital intensive product. And if you're a teenager, I'm assuming that you're not doing that. So there's this another book called Lean Startup that will teach you how to build agile methodologies, how do you build startups fast, how do you build your idea with less means, and how do you iterate. So I always suggest that do that. Launch your product, get feedback on it, keep iterating. And at the same time, also focus on creating authentic content, because that is what will help you market your stuff, reach out to more people, and then thereby create more impact. So it's pretty straightforward actually, but then how much time you take on each path is dependent on how much time you have, what's your own pace, what's your own story, what's your journey. So it's very different from person to person, but then this is what I would recommend.
Really important, informative. Like, I'm gonna check out the books, and finding the problems and then solving it out is like it's what entrepreneurship is. And कि क्या करना चाहिए, कैसे करना चाहिए and all. तो नाउ टेल मी क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, लाइक यू नो एज अ
Oh,
फाउंडर और एंटरप्रेन्योर, क्या चीजें हमें नहीं करनी चाहिए, क्या चीजें अवॉइड करनी चाहिए, यू नो? यप.
okay. So basically, because I just work with early stage founders, mostly with early stage founders, I won't give any advice that's related to what you do or what you don't do after you grow a company, because I feel like I'm not the best person to do that. But if you're an early stage founder, if you're just getting started on your journey, or if you're just like 2 years into the journey, I have seen so many founders with great ideas just not do anything because they're waiting for funding. And trust me, I've there's this mentor whom I've been connected with for a long time. He's called Rishabh Agarwal. From him, I learned that you can actually build great things by bootstrapping. And if you're young, you don't need to invest thousands of money into a startup. So when I started Founderly, for the first 6 months, I barely invested 2,000 in the entire thing. That included the domain, the website, everything. And the way that you do that is that if you're young, especially, there are always people who are ready to help you out. So even if the website builder that we used, I actually emailed that company that, hey, I'm a 16-year-old founder. I want to build this idea that I have in my head, and I want to make a website. Can I get a student plan? They ended up giving me the builder for free. So, and it's one of the most expensive website builders that is on the market. So it was actually like a very if you're young, if you want to build for impact, if you have something in your head, there are people that are willing to help you out. So please don't, if you're a new startup or a new founder, don't just think, oh, I will just go to Shark Tank, I will just approach investors, I just want funding for my idea. That is, you will never get funding this way. You need to have things to back yourself up, to back that, okay, if this was my idea, I actually took charge on it and I did this. I met this people. This is how people benefited from my product. And only when you have all of this will somebody be interested to invest in your idea and come on as a mentor or investor. And I mentioned bootstrapped. So basically, bootstrap means that you run your own company or your own startup without taking any investment from another investor. So essentially, most people who bootstrap own like 100% of equity, or basically very high equity, and they don't take money from investors. So that's what basically bootstrapping is.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
think okay.
So
Continue.
I have a problem with this thing because let's say if मुझे कोई सा कैपिटल इंटेंसिव बिजनेस ही बनाना है, मेरा कोई प्रोडक्ट है जिसमें ज्यादा कैपिटल लग रहा है, and I'm from a middle class family, I don't have enough capital to support it. So is there any way I can arrange for funds? Because taking a loan at the age of 17, my parents won't understand that, frankly. So I would have to arrange funds in some other way. So ऐसा क्या पाथ्स हो सकते हैं, कैसे किसी फंडर को आप किसी इन्वेस्टर को आप पिच करो, एंड क्योंकि आपका एक product, तो आपने ऑलरेडी आपके पास जब कैपिटल नहीं है तो आपने उसका प्रोटोटाइप ही बनाया है, बस आपके पास कुछ प्रॉपर कॉन्क्रीट एग्जांपल भी नहीं है देने को, एंड ना कोई प्रोग्रेस है. तो हाउ वुड यू डू दैट कि अगर मेरे को कोई कैपिटल इंटेंसिव ही करना है तो?
Okay, so there are actually, so I'm a Marwadi. Okay, we found like many jugadu ways to like get capital if you're young, if you don't want to take loans. Because okay, so I'll just like list out a few things on the top of my head. First, if you are a techie, join hackathons, build your product there, and you will end up winning a lot of prizes, a lot of grants. That's one thing. So hackathons are actually, I read the story of this one guy who just built his startup and earned his living by doing a lot of hackathons, earning money in that, and then like putting that into his business. That's one thing. So hackathons are a great way, or any competitions for that sake that have grants. Thirdly, is just grants in itself. So a lot of people, public slash private, they are willing to give grants to younger entrepreneurs to build ideas. So for example, Startup India has a lot of grants for amazing ideas. So Startup India is one place where you can apply to get a grant. Even private big founders, if you've heard of What the Fund by Nikhil Kamath, so he is giving grants to entrepreneurs below the age of 25, starting from
अच्छा.
17. So that's a great place to apply. If you're looking for a grant, Nikhil Kamath has an amazing podcast. It's a free resource. Plus, he's giving all of these opportunities through what the fund. So, thirdly, grants. Fourth is that you can, so suppose if you have a product, try to build an MVP at a lower cost and then show it to, and then once you get the feedback, you build a plan around it, you build a business plan around it, and then you kind of pitch it to private angel investors. That's one thing that you can do. But the problem is, wo angel investor kahan se laye? Uske liye have a good LinkedIn presence, give quality content out there, and be open about it and show it in public that okay, for 6 months. So what happens on LinkedIn, I always tell this, so if you, especially if you're looking for investors and everything, put on LinkedIn, 6 months if you're building a product, every single day. Share what you've been working on, what's the update, and then people get interested in your work. They get interested in what you're building. And then at the end of 6 months, you will actually find people reaching out to you that, hey, I like what you're working on. Do you think I can get some equity in this and I'll put some money in it? So that's fourth. That try reaching out to people. If you're very young, the chances of somebody investing in you is low, but it's not impossible. So you got to give it a shot. And fifth, what I personally did was that because I had learned these skills, I started freelancing. And then whatever money I got through freelancing, so for Founderly, I've never really asked my family to help me out financially, although they've offered multiple times. So what I did instead was that I freelanced, and then whatever money I generated out of that, I used to pour that in my business. So, and also one thing is that try to keep your costs low, especially if you're a student trying out. Don't pour a lot of money in everything. So you don't actually have to do paid marketing. Organic marketing, if you're a student, will pay off in the long run. So instead of just doing ads, if you're 15-year-old, you want to do this business, ad chalao mat baar baar. Try to build your organic presence also, because honestly, social media, personal branding in general will become a huge thing in few years. It's already a super huge thing. In the next few years, every single founder will have to come on social media and promote their product. And I just, for me personally, I might be wrong, but that's how I see the future of marketing or selling your products in general. So, just showing videos of your product will not work anymore. Every startup that I've seen personally, they're becoming very founder focused. They're becoming very people focused. So I read this somewhere that people are trying to become like brands and brands are trying to become like people. So people are forming brands around them. One very prominent example that comes to my head is Ali Abdal. He's a very popular YouTuber. Now he has this whole brand around him. He has a
Mm-hmm.
company, he has a book, he has a podcast, he has everything that you can imagine. And then there are companies jiska face is a founder. So one very popular example of that is Niche Hair. So Niche
Yeah.
Hair is a damn founder
Uh,
focused company, and they've done some amazing work. Like I think half of the youth in India now knows about Niche Hair.
uh,
So like build your personal brand. I personally believe in that a lot. I feel like it will pay off in the long run.
ओके सो आई थिंक इट्स अ मिथ कि फंडिंग जरूरी है हम ऐसे भी जा
Yeah.
सकते हैं क्योंकि सोशल मीडिया प्लेज अ ग्रेट रोल एंड लिंक्डइन स्पेशली सो एज यू जस्ट सेड कि या हम बात करें पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग की लेट अस नो व्हाट इज पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग एंड सब कुछ लाइक क्या पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग क्या कैसे करे कब क्या सब
Okay. I've actually made like a 15-minute long YouTube video on this once. I'll share it with you guys if needed. It has like I've covered everything in that, but I'll still just kind of brief it. So basically, personal brand, if you don't know, is basically when you build a brand around yourself. So even if you're looking at this, you are relating more to me or as a person, or you might be trusting me as a person because you've been listening to this podcast for like maybe 20 minutes now. And then if I were just a logo instead, if I was a company's logo, would you really trust me? Would you like really want to listen to me? I like personally, I would not. So personal branding is this idea that you form a brand around a person. So pehle only celebrities, movie stars, they used to have the personal brands that okay, if anybody said Deepika Padukone, you would know who she is. But now founders are building personal brands around themselves because people trust people more, right, than random brand names. So people like Aman Gupta, who has a very strong personal brand, people buy a lot of his products, not because they maybe like the company. Like Board is a great company, but a lot of people like me, I tried out his products because I like the man, not the company. So, personal branding is this idea where you get people interested in what you do as a person, as a founder, what you are building, and then that can drive crazy sales for your own company. So, if you've heard of this company called Finance with Sharan, I was it might be somebody else, but this is what I remember reading. It's been a long time, but basically there was this founder, uska founder only, he said that he had a big following on his social media, right? So when he started, he put out like Raat ko, he put out a link for a webinar or like some kind of an online course thing he was doing, and it was a paid thing, and he just put it कि मतलब ऐसे एक है, if you want you can register इसमें. And then the next day when he woke up, सारे registration full हो गए थे. He was expecting like 10-15 people to come in, and like hundreds of people had already paid for that overnight, and then he was like booked out, and he had to increase that capacity. So now that did not happen because people knew his company. That happened because people knew him. So he had built a personal brand. That's what personal branding is. And the way that you build a personal brand is sharing about your story, sharing about what you're doing, your insights, educational content, informational content, entertaining content. And basically, you put out content on social media. That's, I think, the easiest and the most common way of building a personal brand. And of course, one thing that I always say is that be authentic. Chat GPT use karoge to sooner or later people will figure out कि ये chat GPT है. And even if they don't figure out, when somebody will meet you in person, they will be like, oh, online तो ये
Yeah.
और कुछ ही था.
हाँ वो
So
पता चलता.
वो हमेशा पता चल जाता है. So if you're doing like more B2B business, I will suggest using LinkedIn. If you're doing D2C business, I'll suggest using Instagram. So that's like how I see both the platforms.
अच्छा. And another example that I can think of personal branding में और बहुत almost सारे लोग जानते होंगे is Ori. The
Oh,
way
yeah.
the way he has popularized himself and his work, सबको एकदम एक ट्रेंड था कि भाई Ori करता क्या है.
ये
तो
exactly everyone wanna know और ये करता क्या है.
तो वो एक बहुत
100.
अच्छा वे है, एग्जाम्पल अच्छा है कि आप कैसे एक पर्सनल ब्रांड को ग्रो कर सकते हो, कैसे उसको यूज कर सकते हो अपने आसपास की चीजों को आप पॉपुलराइज करने के लिए, कि आप अपना बिजनेस कैसे ग्रो कर रहे हो. तो बहुत प्राइम
Yeah.
एग्जाम्पल है वो.
And it's like, Ori's built like this weird brand around him. अब अगर कल Ori एक टी-शर्ट निकालता है जिसमें लिखा हुआ है I am a liver, then I know
हाँ
people will buy it because it's interesting. People like Ori. People, even if they don't like Ori, they are interested कि अच्छा ये liver क्या है, मतलब वो बोल रहा है वो एक
हाँ.
liver है, but what the hell is that? So because he is a personal brand, he has like so many followers on Instagram. He will get conversions. He will get sales if he does it right.
Hmm.
So
and
another,
and
I
all
feel like a huge example is Mr. Beast. That's
is
a
example.
that's a person driven brand. That
हाँ.
man has every single business now, and he's
Hmm.
making profits like crazy. And another thing that I wanted to add was that personal brands of people, because they're more people focused, they want to come off as genuine, they want to come off as helping the society. People like Mr. Beast, who basically run companies that are very people driven, they're doing a lot of social work, which is also good. So
Hmm.
if you look at any of Mr. Beast's videos, it's like we cleaned out the entire trash from this water body.
हाँ.
That's a fun video. उसे तो बहुत पैसे मिल रहे हैं उस वीडियो से. But at the same
Hmm.
time, if you look at, he's helping out the environment so much. He's doing a lot of impact. So it's
Hmm.
it's always good in every sense to build a personal brand. That's what I personally feel.
Hmm. Also, if I'm not wrong, Mr. Beast has his own philanthropy channel और उसमें
Yeah.
बहुत बहुत कुछ millions में subscribers है. So he's doing a great job. And Ori वाला example, carrying on that example, the way वो एक बहुत अच्छा example है कि आप अपने network का कैसे use करते हो. क्योंकि
Oh yeah.
पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग एक चीज है, बट नेटवर्क आपके पास जो है उसका आप कैसे यूज कर रहे हो. क्योंकि उसकी फ्रेंडशिप विद जानवी कपूर और बॉलीवुड स्टार्स, मेन फैक्टर वही था कि उसने इतना प्यारा अपना बिजनेस बनाया, इतनी अच्छी ब्रांडिंग करी है. तो वो नेटवर्क का यूज करना आप बहुत अच्छे से सीख सकते हो उस पर्सन से.
And
Oh
his
yeah.
phone
100%. He truly made that saying, like people say that your network is your net worth. And then
Mhm.
with Ori, you actually see that how he used his connections with popular celebrities to build this huge hype around him. That's very interesting, actually.
Hmm. Uh,
Absolutely.
also, जैसे अपन यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स की बात कर रहे थे, तो डू यू थिंक अगर आप एक अर्ली एज में चालू करते हो तो उसमें कोई एडवांटेज है, कोई हेड स्टार्ट है आपके पास? बिकॉज देयर इज टू साइड टू दिस कॉइन कि एक तो इफ यू आर स्टार्टिंग यंग यू डोंट हैव दैट मच ऑफ एन एक्सपीरियंस, सेकंड यू डोंट हैव दैट गुड ऑफ अ नेटवर्क, ऐसा लोग सोचते हैं। बट ऑन द अदर हैंड यू हैव दिस थिंग कि आपने जल्दी चालू किया है, यू हैव मोर इयर्स, you have greater potential to learn from your mistakes and everything. So what's your take on this?
Okay. So I have a very pole-sided, extreme take on this actually. So I feel like the best time to start is right now. Uh,
Mhm.
I just like I read a lot of like these books and everything that has these quotes. So that this one said that the best time to start something was yesterday, but the second best time to start something is now. So why? So like the first thing that you said that young people don't have a network or resources or experience. So, what I would like to say in this is that this is actually a limiting belief. So,
Mhm.
honestly, how do you get experience? Uh, it's very simple. You get
Mhm.
experience by getting experience. There is literally
हाँ.
no workaround around this. So, if you're 15 and if you're thinking कि अभी कुछ startup नहीं करना है क्योंकि experience नहीं है, network नहीं है, when you're 22 and you're on the same path, you've not done anything, you will still have no experience and no network.
Hmm.
So if whatever age you are, even if you are 13, if you want to try something out, do something that you like. Make a YouTube channel. अगर वो अच्छा लगता है वो करो. But starting things young. Firstly, gives you so many learning opportunities. It is crazy. If you are a 16-year-old entrepreneur in the next 2 years of high school, where you have literally no responsibilities, in most
Mhm.
cases, this gives you 2 years to make so many mistakes and learn from them like anything. So I always recommend people that you start young, and especially if you're young now, you get this advantage that people are more willing to help you out. Just being very candid about it. If for me, for example, I have been able to come this far because I found great people who were willing to help me out only because I was a 16-year-old trying to build from a tier 2, tier 3 ignored city. And then this kind of advantage can be leveraged if you're young. More importantly, you get this space, you have the permission to make mistakes, right? So always I will recommend start young. Also, when you're young, because you don't have responsibilities, you're more creative. So once you are like 25, 30, you have a family to support. Then before you make moves, you'll have to think about it very analytically. Ki, if I do this, what's the ROI on this? But when you're young, you don't really have to think इसमें ROI क्या आएगा on monetary terms. You can just try to do something just to learn from it and get that experience. So 100%, please, whatever age you are, don't feel like that has to hold you back. Even if you're 13, do whatever you're interested in. There's like literally no age to entrepreneurship or anything for that matter.
Mhm.
Absolutely, and I think this is the best age क्योंकि no one will be like कि ये mistake कर रहा है ये कर रहा है because if we are adult and making mistake तो it will be like oh इतना बड़ा होके mistake कर रहा है something and at this age we can just keep experimenting and all like I have experience like I started LinkedIn at the age of 14 and उससे पहले I tried dancing I tried acting and I tried everything like I'm trying. I'll say I'm experiencing everything because I think कि इस age पे if I'll do mistake तो आगे जाके that will be a great lesson क्योंकि I don't think at the age of 23 and 24 I can make mistake or something. So okay, I have a question. Most of the young school, young school going entrepreneur face a common problem, and that is not getting enough support and encouragement from their family. Did you ever face this? Like, and how do you advise people to convince their parents? क्योंकि of course ये फेस होता है कि अरे यू आर अ किड ये 2 दिन की बात है 2 दिन का शौक है उसके बाद तो खत्म हो जाएगा एंड या
Okay. So personally, I have fortunately never faced this issue where my family wasn't supportive of what I do. Like I mentioned, I'm the eldest daughter in a Marwadi house. So I'm the eldest kid. So because of that, since I was young, I've always been like pushed by my family to go after my dreams, and just do what I want. So when I was in grade 5, I actually wrote on my board that I want to go to MIT. It was so random. I didn't really know कि school कौन सा है. I was class 5 में थी. I saw that oh, computer science के लिए MIT is good. I was like, okay, I'll go there. So, and then there was a phase I had few months back. So even now I'm considering taking a gap year. So from being that, that kid who wants to go to MIT, I became a kid who's like, okay, let's try a gap year. Let's see what I can build there. So, but going back to your question, I have worked with so many teenagers, especially girls, who face this problem where they feel like their family isn't supportive enough of their idea. And to that, I will say that firstly, try to form like a peer group, try to form a community around yourself of similar people, mentors that you can talk to for free. So your community doesn't have to be paid. So try to, get like a support group of like-minded individuals from around the globe. Doesn't have to be your country or your city or your school, in fact. So when I was in grade 7, I felt like I was very I didn't have the same ideas as the people in my class. I wanted to make a YouTube channel when I was in grade 8, and I was bullied for that. And now, looking back, a lot of these people who bullied me asked me for help, and that's like the cute thing about like this circle. It always comes back. So suppose in Guwahati I wasn't appreciated by other people, like relatives or friends or teachers for that matter. Still a lot of teachers tell me that, shouldn't you focus on class 12, why are you working on your startup now? And I've realized that your work doesn't have to stop just because people around you don't believe in you. You can actually do crazy stuff if you believe in yourself. If your family or your school, your peers, your teachers, if they believe in you, consider that as a cherry on the cake. But that shouldn't be your reason for not doing something or for doing something. So, like I said, some actionable things to do would be firstly form a community of strong, like minded people who will help you through it. And secondly, try to find free resources to, kind of do what you want to do. Today, you can find free resources for everything, literally everything. And if you want to combine both of those, my startup does kind of that. So it's called thefounderly.com. That's the website. It's called The Founderly. And we basically help aspiring entrepreneurs form their companies, get their work started, raise funds, or whatever. So we're just like this community of builders, hustlers, founders who are focused on building an idea. And then it does not matter your age. Our youngest member is barely 13. So, and the oldest person that we are working with is with like 56, 60. So, honestly,
Oh,
there's like this huge variety. Most of the people that you will find in Founderly are college students, but you will also find people who are in your age bracket. And if there is no one in your age bracket, you get to start the community, and that's also pretty cool. So, yeah, you can just head up to our website. We are always having some kind of a program, meetups, this, that, virtual, everything. So I feel like even if you can't go somewhere because you're a student, personally in class 6 May, it wouldn't have been possible for me to go to a meetup because I was a shy kid, firstly. Secondly, I didn't have the, like, of course, I'm a 6-year-old kid. I can't like just go to some place for a meetup. So try to join online, but of course, always be smart, always be open to putting yourself out there. Even if you're introvert, don't let being an introvert hold you back from reaching out to people. So
Absolutely.
that's one thing that I would say. And if you want to join Founderly, it's pretty easy. You just have to head out to our website, thefounderly.com, and then there you will get to see what all we do. At the current time, what are we offering? So if we're offering futurepreneurs or a startup weekend, so these are the two main things that we do. We host like startup weekends, which are like 48-hour startup hackathons where you just build your idea. You co-work with people. If that is going, that's basically done every month, every second month, so you can join that. And futurepreneurs happens thrice or 4 times a year, and these both programs are free to join. So that's a great place to find a community. And even if you don't have an idea, even if you don't want to form a startup, it always helps you learn more about things and form a network. So I will highly recommend doing that. But yeah, just be upfront about it. Ask people for your help. Ask people to help you out, and please don't feel like you just have to make your way alone in this world. Even if you're 17, even if you're 16, if your family is not supporting you, trust me, you will find other people in the same path around the globe who are willing to kind of walk with you in the journey.
And yeah, absolutely. Like as you said, introvert wali baat, and you're like your friends not supporting you ki ye kya hai something. I think ki we should just do our things अपने लिए, like without caring कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे and something. हमें just experiment करना चाहिए, क्योंकि at the end अगर वो I have seen this, अगर वो सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है तो इट्स लाइक कि अरे दे आर लकी एंड समथिंग, दे विल नॉट सी कि कितने एफर्ट्स, कितने स्ट्रगल उन लोगों ने किया. तो आई थिंक
Yeah,
कि हम करना ही हाँ.
100%. I agree with you, and I've faced this like crazy, honestly. So, when I started like my YouTube channel in grade 8, I put out like this one video. Okay. And I did that after my parents told me a lot कि बेटा कुछ नहीं होगा, डाल दे, मन है डाल दे. And then somebody from my class found out about it. I didn't even like share it with anyone. And I still remember it was COVID. People sent it to the WhatsApp group and people started making fun of me. And I had just moved to this school. So I was like this new girl who was doing like making these weird videos on YouTube, talking about. So my video was on vision boards actually. It's still up on the internet. Uh, I was a, I was in class 8, barely 14, telling people how I make vision boards and how they can do it too. So what I'm trying to say is that then I was made fun of a lot for trying something out like this. And then even when I started Founderly 1.5 years back, people were telling me, why are you wasting your time? Why shouldn't you focus on your studies? And then once it took off, so many people that I know they did an internship here because they were like, "Arey pro certificate chahiye, internship chahiye, yahan kar le kya?" So it always, comes back. Like just believe in yourself. And right now, if I'm being honest, so I started like creating content on Instagram just few weeks back, and I have like my own, like a private account which has like around 900 people in it. But that's everyone that I know. And then I was a little scared. Okay, I was like feeling like okay, people are gonna judge me. So what I did was that I made a separate account. I didn't add anyone there, no one, and
Mhm.
I've been posting content there. Now it's grown to about 350 people, and out of those 350, 300 are people that I have never seen, never met. So it's like 300 strangers who are following me. Only 20, 30 people are people like my friends who saw recommendations me ki, oh shit, ye the Vamika hai, let me like mutual follow or something. So what I'm trying to say is that even now, I'm sure some people in my school, some people that I know are thinking, why is she making such cringe content on like Instagram? Does she think that she's an influencer? She's just 17. Why is she giving me advice on something? But what I'm trying to tell you is that once that 300 changes to 30K or some number that hopefully I achieve one day, then it will always, I know that then like it's a circle, right? So don't
It's
let,
like अपना time आएगा.
yeah, like never let criticism or embarrassment stop you from doing something that you want to do.
Mhm. And also now that you have mentioned futurepreneurs, so एक interesting बात audience के लिए, तो Talkify का जो relaunch हुआ है, I and Kashish met on futurepreneurs. So Vamika, हाँ,
Exactly.
Vamika is basically the one जिसकी वजह से हम दोनों मिले हैं and अभी साथ में को host कर रहे हैं, तो interesting thing. Okay, moving on. You
Oh, even
mentioned
I didn't
gap
know
year.
that actually.
Actually, you
I
did
didn't know
not.
that you guys met on entrepreneurs. No, no.
Lol. I told. I
It was
texted
like
you.
when I introduced Talkify group में, and then he approached me ki aisa, and he told me ki I'm looking for something like this, and I was like, let's do it again, and now here we are.
Oh, that is so interesting. You guys should then like fill out that form. We are like displaying all the people who met from Founderly on the website. We're sharing like their initiatives on the website and like on our social medias. So yeah, we're making like a portfolio there. You can like fill out that, and
Let's
we'll
go,
make your own
Manas.
landing
मेरे को
page.
link भेज देना.
Exactly. Let's go.
Also, you've mentioned gap year. अब I'll give you some
Yeah.
context क्योंकि मैं टॉपमेट एक प्लेटफॉर्म है ऑडियंस के लिए कि जहाँ पे आप अपनी सर्विसेज बेच सकते हो. तो मैं टॉपमेट पे प्रोफाइल बिल्डिंग, कॉलेज प्रोफाइल बिल्डिंग पे थोड़ा सा एक सर्विस फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट रखा है. तो उधर मैंने ये चीज़ नोटिस करी है कि गैप ईयर को लेके एक बहुत टैबू है कि गैप ईयर नहीं लेना चाहिए, बहुत इश्यू हो जाता है, पूरे साल क्या करोगे? एंड स्पेशली अगर आप कॉमर्स या ह्यूमैनिटीज से हो, गैप ईयर जेई वाले लेते हैं वो अलग बात है, और आप कॉमर्स ह्यूमैनिटीज से हो तो गैप ईयर लेके साल वेस्ट कर रहे हो, उम्र जा रही है तुम्हारी। बट सीइंग यू, जिसने 600 प्लस फाउंडर्स को मेंटर किया है, इतनी अच्छी प्रोफाइल लेके एंड फिर गैप ईयर के बारे में सोच रही है, तो आई एम श्योर देयर हैज टू बी सम गुड वैलिड रीजन इसके पीछे। एंड उसका यूज कैसे होने वाला है, गैप ईयर कैसे फायदा करने वाला है?
Okay, so basically, because I'm a mixed stream student, and I basically have my combination quickly is physics, math, computer, English, and economics. So in class 9, actually, funny story, I joined Allen because I was like, okay, I want to do JE prep, and I was in grade 9, and I started JE prep in class 9, and that's when I realized that I am not interested in like studying for JE or doing IIT. And that's when I realized, because I experimented and joined this at such a young age, I realized that, oh, hard sciences isn't really for me. And then because I did these internships, I realized that what I actually love is tech. I love building stuff, coding stuff. And I also love building with people. So I don't want to. So then I realized, okay, I want to work in tech, but I don't want to be the person जो computer के पीछे बैठ के अकेले कुछ बना रहा है. I want to be the person who's like leading people, helping other people grow, helping other people build stuff. And that's when I realized, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur who's building in tech. When the realization hit, and then when this Founderly also begun and everything, it kind of like the pieces kind of sewed together. And I realized that I'm building Founderly. It has potential as a startup to like make great impact and also earn profits at the same time. So that is reason one why I decided that okay, in the gap year, I want to dive completely in this idea. So because I'm from Guwahati, the resources here are very, very, very less as compared to any other place. So because of Founderly, I've actually traveled and I've been lucky enough to be sponsored to travel here and there or go to like these different events and everything. So that's when I realized that Guwahati ke bahar there is so much potential to do. Like India has so much potential to help you build so many crazy things. So in gap year, my plan is to take a year off, build Founderly, build my personal brand, work a lot in tech. So I want to upskill my tech skills a lot. That's the three main priorities that I have for the gap year. And my boards are in March. Right after that, I want to move to Bangalore. So my family has been very supportive. Actually, it was my dad's idea that I should take a gap year. And if I'm so interested, he told me that if you're so interested in building, why don't you like dive on it full time? And
Mhm.
luckily, both my parents were supportive of either decisions, going to college or taking a gap year. So I decided that, okay, I feel like gap year is what I should do. So I'll be moving to Bangalore. If you're from Bangalore, hit me up. You can find me on LinkedIn or Instagram. So I want to move to Bangalore. I want to build a lot of things there. And hopefully, if I am successful, if I am able to do some things in Bangalore, earn more profit to kind of sustain my life, then I might as well, maybe go to Singapore, explore the entrepreneurship ecosystem there. So personally, three places are on my radar: Bangalore, Singapore, and US. So hope maybe I'll be going to college in US. And the thing is that, don't let money hold you back, honestly. When you start putting these things out there, you will find people who are ready to help you. So, like currently, I can only go to Bangalore, right? But if
Mhm.
I'm able to do work in Bangalore, build my, build profit in Bangalore, then that profit will help me go to Singapore. This will propel me to go to US, study in US. So what I'm trying to say is that taking a gap year shouldn't be a stigma. Gap year is the best place for you to explore and learn on ground before you start your formal education again. Because so my dad was actually, he believes a lot in this, and then that's also like we have like a shared common work that students are the most creative people that you'll ever meet. But because students are always taking in input, they're not able to give any output. So as a
Mhm.
student, you have been conditioned to just keep taking input, which is very necessary. But then I also personally feel that being a student is the best time to create stuff and like make output. So
Mhm.
basically for 14 years now, I've been taking input, right? I've I'm completing class 12. I've been studying for so many years now. Now I feel like gap year is when I'll be creating a lot of quality output before I start my full on learning journey again. That's why I wanted to take a gap year, and that's what I'll be doing in my gap year.
Mm.
Awesome. And I think so it's like if we have something in our mind, so tabhi gap year lena chahiye. It's not like yeah, we'll enjoy. Like I know few students,
Yeah,
they are like,
yeah. Like a gap year
huh,
shouldn't be to enjoy; it should be to learn
yeah.
stuff, discover
If
yourself,
we have
explore yourself.
something, if we have something in our mind, then we should take a gap. And it's like अरे थोड़ा अभी 12 साल पढ़ लिया, इतना साल पढ़ लिया, आराम से अब थोड़ा गैप लेते हैं तब जाके करते हैं.
No,
So
no, it
yeah,
shouldn't be like that. Like, unless you have a plan, you should not take a gap year.
absolutely. Okay, so I have one more question. Like, I would like, I would like to tell audience ki Vamika ranked 10th position in India for her ICSE 10th board exam result. So, Vamika, like we as student often, find difficult to, manage school studies with other commitments. How do you manage your scoring well, scoring well while working on different projects like Founderly and other things? So at the same time, is there any particular strategy you are following? Like how? Because same you have 24-hour and we have 24-hour, and then at the age of 17, आप इतना सब कर रहे हैं, and some people are like not doing that much. So how are you managing all that?
Okay. So basically, to be fair, when I was in class 10th, I didn't have a startup to run. And a startup will take every single ounce of your energy, honestly. So I was, but still at when in grade 10th, when I scored 98% and got like Air 10, I was still working on a lot of internships, building skills, building my own stuff. So one thing that I will recommend is always manage your time. If you don't control time, time will control you, honestly. So one thing that I do is I have a Google Calendar. It helps me just see what my day looks like. And a lot of people tell me, so a lot of my friends tell me कि तुम इतना busy रहता है, तुम तो लगता है तुमसे बात करने के लिए अपॉइंटमेंट लेना पड़ेगा, why are you never free? I always, and at the same time, if you just look at my Instagram, you will realize that I am the person who travels like crazy. I love traveling. If somebody is willing to sponsor my ticket to some place, I'm like, bro, let's go. Like, because of, I love traveling. I love exploring stuff. I love going out. I love going out with my friends, hanging out. So I'm the most extrovert person that I know. And what I'm trying to say is that even if you're academically focused, you are a founder, you can have a life, you can have a social life. So to balance these three things, I have a calendar. On Google Calendar, I always schedule these things. So what happens is that I don't have free time. I schedule my free time. So I
Mhm.
always plan my downtimes. And because I kind of keep my calendar organized, it gives me the space where I can take a day off if I'm feeling like it. So even now, in a week, I will, in a month, I will end up taking like 2 weekends where I'll just disappear. I will, I will binge watch a show an entire day. So on 15th, like a new Netflix season of this one show is coming. Okay, and I'm excited to see that. So what happens is that I can pre-plan. So now I'm like getting some extra work done so that 2 days I can just take everything off and I can I have the liberty to kind of just like free myself up, do whatever the hell I want, party as much as I want. So what I'm trying to tell you is that if you schedule stuff, that does not take away your your spontaneous nature or your spontaneous plans. In fact, it gives you the freedom to make spontaneous plans because you have other things in your life in order. So always please don't feel कि अच्छा मैं planning करूंगी तो सब चीज इतना structured हो जाएगा. I hate routines. Planning will actually give you the freedom of not making routines. Planning will pre-planning your day, or even if you don't pre-plan, just knowing where your time is going, this will help you get such control over your life that it will make you feel empowered. Like I am the one who's running my life, it's not the other way around. So I feel like keeping track of your time is the biggest thing that's helped me. एंड ऑल्सो whatever works for you. So मेरे लिए चेंज होते रहता है, मेरे लिए टू डू लिस्ट कभी कभार काम करते कभी कभार नहीं करता. So
Hmm.
just roll with what your body is responding to. And if you are a female, I will highly recommend this book again called Period Power. It will it will teach you how to manage your productivity levels and everything else, from exercise, from moods, from productivity, sleep deprivation, everything. It will help you manage your life according to your hormonal cycle, according to your natural cycle, which is
Hmm.
very different to males. So if you're a female, I will highly recommend that to boost your productivity like crazy. That's one thing.
Okay, so I think from my experience, as I just graduated my school and I did not secure an all India rank, but I was pretty well ranked in my city, and I live in Bhopal. So, what I think worked for me was reward system. I would study,
Hmm.
and I'm a high key Instagram user. I use Instagram for like 2 or 3 hours a day. So what I used to do was कि मैं 2 घंटे पढ़ाई करूंगा और आधा घंटे मस्त इंस्टाग्राम चलाऊंगा बिना पढ़ाई का सोचे, सिर्फ स्क्रॉल कर रहा हूँ, सिर्फ सिर्फ चैटें कर रहा हूँ. तो मेरे हिसाब से मेरे को जो वर्क किया था वो थोड़ा रिवॉर्डिंग सिस्टम है कि इतना पढ़ा तो वो पूरा फोकस से इतना पढ़ा, एंड उसके बाद अगर मस्ती कर रहे हो तो पूरी देर सिर्फ मस्ती हो रही है. तो
Yeah, yeah.
वो वो थोड़ा बढ़िया रहता है. तो आई थिंक रिवॉर्डिंग सिस्टम बढ़िया है. एंड फिर अनदर क्वेश्चन आई हैव जो I think is really important, and ये probably last question होगा because the episode has already gone very long. So I think as we started from the topic of entrepreneurship, so what are some of the types of industries you think जहाँ ज़्यादा potential है, कोई भी young age का work कर रहा है, कोई 15-17 साल का बच्चा अगर कुछ खोलना चाह रहा है तो इस particular industry में अगर work करेगा तो ज़्यादा easily grow कर पाएगा, scale करना easy है, या फिर उस इंडस्ट्री में पोटेंशियल ज्यादा है ग्रो करने का, फ्यूचर के अकॉर्डिंग भी आज के अकॉर्डिंग भी. ऐसी कौन सी इंडस्ट्रीज है आपके अकॉर्डिंग?
Okay, so if I'm going very nitpicky, overall, broader, my tech has a lot of potential in general, but that's also a biased opinion, honestly, because I'm in this industry. I know most about this industry. But if I'm also telling you more deeper stuff, then AR is might hit it up. Web3. So we thought that Web3 was a fail, but then Meta recently announced that it is going on full swing in its Web3 plan. So if Meta, a huge company, is doing this, then you will Web3 is very upcoming, so that's a very good place to tap in. It might explode just like AI did. Second,
Mhm.
AI is still very, very relevant. It will just become more relevant in the future. Thirdly, D2C is a great place to explore. So in D2C, instead of a particular, what I will tell you is that if you're building a personal brand, then if you are somebody, if you're a corporate girly, for example, and you go to corporate all the time, if you want to start like your own clothing line, don't start a loungewear line because you are a corporate person. People have that image of you. So always when you're choosing an industry, see what aligns with your personal brand, see or build your personal brand around that, around that industry. And another industry that's really hitting it off right now is creator economy. Like
Mhm.
it's booming like crazy. There is so much money in it. And another thing I would like to point out is that Nikhil Kamat's podcast is actually exploring a lot of industries in depth. So if you are somebody who's looking for an industry, I will recommend heading out to that podcast and just seeing there ki, because he's exploring industries in depth like crazy, like 15-minute videos on one industry. So that's
Mhm.
a great place to get a lot of knowledge on upcoming industries and a lot of things that are happening in the entrepreneurship space.
Mhm.
डैम लाइक आई थिंक इतना ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेटिव हो गया है ना ये, लाइक हर लाइन में कुछ ना, कभी बुक सजेशन मिल रहा है, कभी पॉडकास्ट सजेशन मिल रहा है, एंड ऑडियंस गोना लव इट. आई एम श्योर ऑडियंस गोना लव इट. ओके.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Like I love to read and like just consume a lot of
ना
this
थैंक
knowledge. Like a crazy
यू.
nerd.
ना
Yes,
थैंक
I
यू सो मच फॉर
her
सजेस्टिंग.
conversation. I'm just like throwing out like book names, podcast names, this that.
Nah, that's a good thing. I'm sure audience gonna love it and it's gonna help them so much. Okay, so now it's time for my favorite round. It's called rapid fire round, and in like उसमें हम आपसे question पूछने वाले हैं. We'll throw a word and you have to give a word जो सबसे पहले दिमाग में आता है. Like if I'll say cartoon, तो सबसे पहले डोरेमोन अगर दिमाग में आ रहा है तो you have to say डोरेमोन. Okay.
Okay, done.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Okay, so your first word is inspiration.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Okay,
Interesting.
that was
Very
very random.
interesting.
Yeah. Actually,
Ah,
if I had to give you like
uh-huh.
a second answer, I would have said like my dad.
Oh,
Ah.
that's a great answer.
I don't want to stretch this answer, but I'm just curious. Why Elon Musk?
Oh, I've read his autobiography. Like the way that he has just, come from nowhere. It's actually insane. So that's another book that I will recommend. His autobiography. And then, oh my God, the kind of work that that guy is doing, it's actually crazy. Like he's building in every single domain possible. And then his work life balance. Actually, he doesn't have that much of a balance. I mean, like his discipline. That's crazy. That's something that his kind of discipline. If I get like that's something that I strive for. So yeah, great guy. Check out his work.
Mhm. Got it. Got it. Okay. Second is mentor.
A what?
Mentor.
Mentor? I would say Rishabh Agarwal, honestly. I've
Okay.
learned a lot from that guy.
Failure.
Failure, YouTube.
YouTube.
No, failure as in like my YouTube channel. Like
Ah.
Haha.
Okay. And then your motivation.
my motivation, securing a good life for my family.
I'm loving your answers.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, damn, that's a good answer.
Networking.
LinkedIn.
Uh-huh. Startup you like the most.
I would have to say niche hair.
Niche here. Hmm.
Yes.
Is it
Their
profitable?
marketing. What?
Is it profitable right now?
Yeah, it is.
Acha.
They
Ah.
spend zero on their marketing costs. It's insane.
Ah.
Yeah, the Malkin is quite famous.
Malkin
Yes.
is very famous. She's an actress, right?
Yeah,
She.
she
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay,
But more
so
than an
yeah.
actor, she's popular as an entrepreneur now.
now.
Mhm.
After Shark Tank, if
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah, after Shark Tank.
Okay, so as we talked about yeah, like Shark Tank, so who is your favorite judge?
I would have to say Aman Gupta.
100% agreed.
That's
Like, sure, man, I think that guy's got some like ego, but at the same time, he's so knowledgeable and he's not afraid to like criticize, but at the same time, he's like not like the Doglapan guy. He's like more, like more nicer
I'm
about
loving
it.
your answers. I'm loving
Oh,
your answers.
what's your take on Ashneer Grover?
I feel like it's a little like I will say honesty is very important in entrepreneurship, but then the lines between honesty and insulting.
Hmm.
So, like Ritesh Agarwal,
Mhm.
the richest among them. He's the
Ha,
most
Hmm.
down to earth and
ha.
nice guy. So I feel like you can still be nice and humble even though you're like wildly successful. So that's just my personal belief. But yeah, he does what he does.
Mhm. Okay, next is favorite book.
Favorite book, Sapiens.
Sapiens. A lot of people have recommended me that, but I don't read books, so.
I have read You Will Know Hararika three books, like all three popular bestsellers. The crazy good. Sapiens is the best.
Acha.
That's great. Like I wanna know कौन सी book नहीं पढ़ी है आपने?
No, man. I've like honestly really become like honestly, like I've left reading since a few months. I've like hardly get any time to read, but then I will always recommend reading books. They're the best way to get knowledge.
Okay, so I think not just books, but you also watch shows and So let me know your favorite show.
Modern Family.
Modern
Uh-huh.
Family.
Modern Family, Big Bang Theory. I have like a couple. I love Big Bang Theory and Modern Family. They're like my like I love just like binge watching them. I've seen Modern Family for like 4 or 5 times now.
I would love to make a community for Big Bang Theory, guys. Love for BBT. I love that show.
Would love to join it.
I love
Plus,
Big Bang
I
Theory.
feel like I've watched so many series. If I tell somebody, they will think मुझे time कहाँ मिलता है बाकी चीजों का. But yeah, like
I'm
you
the
can
same.
do
Favorite
time pass.
Indian show? What's your favorite Indian show?
Indian, honestly, I've not watched a lot of Indian shows. because Indian shows are very like thriller based, and I am a very sitcom person, so I just watch like sitcoms and everything.
तारक मेहता का
I
उल्टा
not
चश्मा.
watch like Mirzapur and everything because I'm like a little scared to do that. I'm like I get like scared of like violence and everything soon, so I like stay away from those shows.
I would recommend you TVF Tripling. Really good show. Really funny show, and it's a very short type of series, but really funny.
Oh, I'll check it out. I used to when I was a kid, I used to watch like these shows like like Big Boss and Khatro Ke Khiladi, whatnot, like roadies, like every like weird show on
ओके
TV
सो
with my grandma.
पहले पहले टाइम पे वो सही भी आते थे एंड अब अगर उसको देखेंगे इट्स ऑल स्क्रिप्टेड इट्स ऑल बायस टाइप थिंग लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल तारक मेहता पहले कितना सही आता था एंड अब सब आधे तो चेंज हो गए आई थिंक एंड अब इट्स
Oh yeah,
एपिसोड
favorite I would say Tarak Mehta. Tarak Mehta I watched a lot.
तारक मेहता तो मेरा दिन भर सुबह से रात तक का स्केड्यूल सिर्फ तारक मेहता देखा हूँ मैं. बहुत देखा
Oh
हूँ.
yeah,
पर
like I
बट
don't
यू
basically
व्हाट अबाउट
I
ओलंपिक्स
don't
मैनेज
हाँ,
like I don't watch
व्हाट
OTT
अबाउट
on.
ओलंपिक्स
4 साल में होता है वो. नो माइंड.
हाँ जैसे
हाँ.
मैंने OTT पे हिंदी नहीं देखा उतना, but on TV पे I watched
एंड रोडीज वाज आल्सो गुड जब तक रणविजय था. फ्रैंकली जब से रणविजय
Roadies.
गया तब
I
से रोडीज खराब हुआ.
1 or 2 episodes, man, nothing more.
I haven't watched Rudy's yet.
I've watched a lot of seasons of roadies, like bunch of seasons. बहुत अच्छा लगता था यार. अच्छा फन था. मेरे को रोस्ट करेंगे इसके लिए लोग, पर अच्छा था. ठीक है.
Oh, another book I just remembered. If you're an entrepreneur, this is my favorite book. It's actually right in my room. It's called Tools of Titans. Great book, great book. It combines this one guy. He used to run a podcast named Ferris. He's interviewed the best people in this world. एंड
Mhm.
वो उन सबसे जितना भी सीखा है ना, मतलब 100-200 जन का एक कॉम्पिलेशन बना दिया, उसको बुक बना दिया है. इट्स द बेस्ट थिंग. लाइक my personal one like bucket list item is that I want to interview such essay, and then I want to write my own version of Tools of Titans one day.
Mhm. Okay, so I think with this we would wrap it up. But I just want you to elaborate. How was your experience with this podcast? And
Oh, it was great. I love talking to both of you, and just the fact that you guys could meet in Fishpreneurs, that's like such cherry on the cake, honestly. And yeah, it was great. I wish you both the best of luck with this show, and I'm sure that you'll interview much better guests one day. And yeah, hopefully you will take this to like crazy good heights.
Thank you
okay,
so much. Thank you so much. And we, enjoyed, hosting you. You are such a great person and we loved all your answers. Every line is like so informative and I think audience ka bhi same रहने वाला है. And like I love all your suggestions, everything. And I think कि जिसको books start करना पड़ेगा and all. Guys, follow Vamika. She'll guide you everything. And Vamika, all the very best for your life and all your future plans, everything. We wish you all the best and
Mhm.
wish to host you soon once you are, like done with things and then like, progress report. कि, okay, आप कहाँ पहुँचे?
True,
Okay.
true.
and also Vamika, if you could just say like, share, subscribe for our audience.
Oh yeah, guys, I love Talkify podcast. I loved being on the show. So please like, share, and subscribe to the show. And I'm sure that you'll get like a lot of knowledge from this show.
Yes, अब
Okay,
तो
guys.
बनता है guys. जल्दी से कर दो.
I'll drop all the links and the books links, TV shows, mentors, everything in the description. I'll try because बहुत सारे बोल दिए हैं, but कुछ तो डाल ही दूंगा. So like, share, and subscribe, guys. Thank you, Vamika.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
guys,
so
for
much.
hosting me. Yes, good night. Bye.
Good night.
Okay, guys, that's all for today. I hope you liked it. And yes, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and drop your opinions in the comment box. We are waiting and like we are waiting to reply and read them. Yes, Manis.
भाई देखो मैं कह रहा हूँ, गाली देना है कमेंट्स में गाली दो, तारीफ करना तारीफ करो, पर कमेंट करो, कमेंट करो.
Exactly.
हमें
We want
encourage करो,
reach.
कमेंट करो. हम बच्चे हैं थोड़ा 17-18 साल के, थोड़ा करो, encourage करो, कुछ भी करो, रीच चाहिए, करो. Okay guys, that's it from the Talkify show episode number 2. And I know it has been a long episode, but ठीक है, enjoy होगा, मजा आएगा.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's end it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening to us. And अगर यहाँ तक आए हो तो जल्दी से like कर ही दो अब तो.
Okay,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you so much. Good night. Have a great. Okay, not a day. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.